What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another batch of posts from r/fatlogic to read, react to, and clown on a bit, should the need arise. This is episode 54 in the fatlogic series, and I can't wait to sink my teeth into these fresh posts. So without further ado, let's get into it.
A person, read, doctor, can both have treated a fat person kindly historically, and they can hold fatphobic biases. This is one of the scariest things about moving through the world while fat. You meet people, and they might know enough to not make comments about your body, or even to talk about bodies in front of you. Or a specialist doctor, derm, or gyno, might not immediately bring up your weight, but the other shoe can drop at any moment, and you realize that the person has been thinking about your body and making assumptions about you the whole time. This week, my gynecologist, who I would have considered to be almost as safe as a doctor can be, let me down. She is not Hayes, but I've seen her annually for 7 years. She has helped me solve problems in the past. She had never shamed or even asked me about my weight. I came to her with a problem, and she immediately started spewing the stereotypical anti-fat, BMI-based BS that I expect from most doctors. It was heartbreaking, but honestly, I can't call myself surprised, because this is what it is to be fat and seek medical care. Not having to worry if you'll receive adequate health care due to your size is #thin privilege. Note, I have a lot of privilege in the medical space as a white, cisgender, educated person with better health insurance coverage.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Why do these people even bother going to the doctor? I can't wrap my head around it. They clearly think they know better than the doctor anyway, from their extensive perusal of Hayes blogs and fat acceptance TikToks, no doubt. So why continue to seek traditional medical advice? Are they expecting the doctor to just ignore the fact that they're obese, and that this is likely contributing to any ill health they might be experiencing, and just wave a magic wand and make it go away? Or something? That's not how it works. While there might be other measures that can be taken to soften the blow, if the patient fails or refuses to lose weight, it is the doctor's responsibility to first provide the best treatment plan that they can come up with. Not the treatment plan that most soothes the patient on an emotional level, or the plan that most aligns with any wacky pseudoscientific theories they might believe in. Like, it's not a kid's birthday party. This is serious business. And the doctor is there to offer some actual insight, not play dress up with you and indulge your flights of fancy. Thin people do not receive different care from the doctors because of thin privilege. They receive different care because their overall medical situation is different to that of obese people. Obesity can cause, or increase the risk of developing, a number of medical conditions. And this is naturally something that doctors will consider when trying to identify the source of any symptoms encountered. This is not persecution, it's differentiation based on risk factors. And it serves to ensure that everyone gets care that is specifically tailored to their needs. Similarly, some treatments that are safe for thin patients will not be as safe for fat patients. And this may have an impact on the physician's willingness to provide these treatments. Once again, this is not persecution, it's a bespoke approach that understands that everyone is different, and everyone has different risk factors. And it's the best way we have of assuring that everyone gets the treatment that is best for them specifically. There's a certain irony in the fact that fat activists, who constantly complain about how there are not enough clothing sizes to meet their bodily dimensions, suddenly want a one-size-fits-all approach to medicine, despite the fact that this would harm fat patients first and foremost. Needless to say, I don't think we should listen to them, ha ha.
The reason you aren't getting the big tits you want on HRT is because the trans community's relentless fat phobia has kept you from eating enough calories to actually grow new breast tissue.
Okay, so I want to tread carefully on this one, because I know very little about hormone replacement therapy, the details of how it works, what results one can expect from it, and what might influence these results. Despite my ignorance on the subject, however, I felt the need to respond to this post, because it struck me as extremely mean-spirited. Like, regardless of whether you believe that someone's unsatisfactory results from HRT are based on their not eating enough calories. It's pretty cruel to attack someone over something like that, especially a trans person undergoing their transition, because these people are likely to be especially self-conscious about their bodies. And what they need is love and unconditional support, not rude comments that blame them for things not going the way that they had hoped. All of this is especially hard to swallow coming from a fat activist. Considering the fat acceptance community's endless moaning about unsolicited comments about people's bodies, or blaming fat people for being fat. Like, it really is one rule for me, another for thee, isn't it? They can shame people, comment on their bodies, and blame them for their problems, because they've convinced themselves that they're the victim in all things. But heaven forbid that anyone even suggest that it would be possible for them to lose weight, because that would just be intolerable fat phobia. Right, give me a break. And I don't know where this idea that the trans community is relentlessly fatphobic came from. I'm not a part of the trans community, so I guess I'm not in the best position to judge. But even if there is a disproportionate anti-fat presence within the community, which I have no evidence for one way or the other, it seems like a gross overgeneralization to tar the whole community with the same brush. And frankly, based on the vindictive tone of this post, I'm inclined to believe that if this poster has found themselves in any disagreements with trans folks, they were probably the one in the wrong, so make of that what you will. I know this response was a mess, but I did my best, haha. If any trans folks want to chime in down in the comments, I'd be really interested to hear your takes. In general, I just take issue with people making negative generalizations about whole groups of people like this. So I wanted to speak out against it, but I'm aware that my response wasn't that in-depth or complete. So if anyone has any additional insights, help me out, I guess.
Nearly 30% of adolescents, teens, in the US have prediabetes. Study finds.
This post kind of speaks for itself, but I thought I would include it anyway, because it's a good reminder of what's at stake here, with all the silly antics we see fat activists getting up to on social media. Sometimes it can seem like the whole obesity debate is just fun and games. But the real issue at hand is very serious. And with numbers like this, frankly terrifying. I don't know what the solution is to the obesity epidemic. It's something that we've been aware of for a long time now. But attempts to combat it have clearly failed. And now it's taking root in a new generation. This is not just an American problem, either. I'm not American, and it's a big concern where I live, and in other nearby countries. At this point, places that don't have a serious obesity problem are probably the exception rather than the norm. At least among developed countries. I wish I had a more positive spin that I could put on things. Some reason for optimism, but if I'm being honest, I have grave doubts about the ability, and, regrettably, the will, of society to do anything about it. I guess all I can do is try to fight back against fat acceptance and haze misinformation, and encourage people to pursue healthy weight loss. But I am under no illusions about the impact this is actually going to have on the overall problem. Because in the grand scheme of things, my efforts will accomplish basically nothing. Which is really depressing, not gonna lie, but it is what it is. Sighs. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the posts and my commentary. Even if we did end things on a rather gloomy note. What do you think? Is receiving adequate healthcare thin privilege? Do people doing HRT need to eat more? What can realistically be done to fight the obesity epidemic? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll start spewing stereotypical, anti-fat, BMI-based BS, and it'll make you cry. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.